And thank you for joining us on ERi-TV English News Broadcast. I'm Heaven Johannes, your news anchor for this session, presenting you our domestic and international news for Monday, the 13th of January from our headquarters in Asmara. Do stay tuned and let's begin with the major headlines. Eritrean delegation participates at extraordinary summit of African Union. Commendable health service provision in the Gindat subzone. China's exports hit a record high in 2024. And Japan and South Korea foreign ministers stress security ties amid political turmoil. In our domestic news, an Eritrean delegation led by Mr. Binyam Berher charged the affair at the Eritrean embassy in Ethiopia, and Eritrea's permanent representative at the African Union and Economic Commission of Africa participated in the extraordinary summit of African leaders. This joint meeting of the Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Ministers of Agriculture was held in preparation for the extraordinary African Union summit on the Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Programme, organized in Kampala, Uganda from 9 to 11 January. The Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Programme, initiated in 2003, is part of the Strategy and Plan of Action for 2026 to 2035 and the Kampala Declaration on Building Resilient Agri-Food Systems in Africa. These summit sessions were organized at the level of Ministers of Agriculture on 9 January, joint meeting of Ministers of Agriculture and Foreign Ministers on 10 January, and with leaders of African Union countries on 11 January. Addressing the meetings, the Eritrean delegation emphasized that Eritrea's development agenda is anchored on self-reliance, national ownership, popular participation, and social justice. Within this framework, the development of the agriculture sector is considered a top priority. The delegation highlighted Eritrea's commitment to creating a modern, efficient, competitive, and sustainable agriculture sector. This vision is implemented by developing a technologically advanced agriculture sector that contributes to food and nutrition security, economic growth, and improved livelihoods for the Eritrean society. Noting that agriculture and food security are key priorities of Eritrea's development agenda, the delegation explained that before 2013, Eritrea's 5-year sectoral strategy development plan focused on food security. Between 2013 and 2020, the team shifted to food and nutrition security, and since 2021, the focus has evolved to safe and nutritious food for everyone, everywhere. To meet the strategic objectives of 2024 to 2028, the delegation outlined focused programs, including agricultural, land and natural resources management, crop development, livestock development, integrated sustainable livelihood and agribusiness support, and human and institutional capacity building. These objectives align with the Kampala Declaration. The delegation further detailed Eritrea's efforts to achieve its goals, which include the conservation and development of natural resources. Since 1991, approximately 800 dams of variable sizes have been constructed, and over 546,000 hectares of land have been treated with on-farm physical measures. Priority has been given to introducing appropriate production technologies and inputs. In 2021, Eritrea initiated a transition from chemical farming to organic farming, utilizing biopesticides and biofertilizers. The delegation also noted significant achievements in agricultural production since 1991. Food production in Eritrea has increased by 7-fold, while vegetable production has increased by 60%. Significant growth has also been observed in dairy, poultry, and honey production. Additionally, Eritrea has embarked on a project to plant 200,000 date palm trees by 2026. The summit adopted a 10-year strategic plan, 2026 to 2035, for the Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Programme and reaffirmed the Kampala Declaration's commitment to integrated agricultural production for sustainable development. In another news, Assistant Nurse Ahmed Haj, head of the Tseret health station in the Gindat subzone, reported that the health station is providing commendable health services to the public. Nurse Ahmed stated that the health station offers pre- and postnatal treatment, delivery services, vaccination for children under 5 years of age, voluntary counseling, pharmacy services, as well as mother and child treatment. He noted that the maternity waiting room established at the health station has significantly contributed to ensuring the safety of mothers and infants. Ms. Asha Idris, administrator of the ERi administrative area, highlighted the significant impact of sustainable awareness-raising programs on the health station's commendable services. She called for continuous environmental sanitation activities to control the prevalence of communicable diseases. The ERi administrative area is located 8 kilometers southeast of Ginda. In related news, new maternity waiting rooms have been constructed in the Zazaga administrative area of the Barikh subzone, with contributions and participation from residents. Mr. Tasfaif Sahatyan, administrator of the subzone, commended the public's initiative in constructing the maternity waiting rooms and called on other administrative areas to follow this noble example. Commending the residents' efforts, Mr. Zarit Tawalda managing director in the Central Region, stated that such initiatives strengthen the government's efforts to improve the socio-economic status of citizens. Do stay tuned, dear viewers, for we'll be back with the international news after the short break. Welcome back. China's exports hit a record high in 2024, state media has reported. According to customs data, exports rose by almost 11% year-on-year, securely beating economists' forecasts. These stronger than estimated figures come as the United States has increased its efforts to cut the profit margins of Chinese exports, showing that these efforts have rendered fruitless. President-elect Donald Trump is set to return to the White House on January 20, armed with an economic agenda that includes sweeping tariffs on Chinese goods. As such, it's expected that the economic conflict between the two countries is to even escalate in 2025. Such conflicts are reported to not only affect the economy of the two countries, but also the economic activities of other countries as well. Foreign ministers from South Korea and Japan met in Seoul today to discuss strengthening their relations in the face of increasing security challenges in the region and political turmoil in the host nation. As such, the two countries have agreed to pursue joint security drives and share military equipment and information. The joint security drives are aimed to tackle military threats from North Korea. Today's meeting marked the highest-level diplomatic meeting between the two countries since South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol's short-lived imposition of martial law last month. In today's final report, heavy rains in southeastern Brazil took lives of at least 11 people on Sunday, including 9 who were killed in landslides during the early morning. According to the State Fire Department, landslides killed 9 people and left 1 missing in the city of Ipatinga. The city was hit by both landslides and flooding, and it's reported that the number of the dead could further increase as several are still missing. In response, local officials have declared a 180-day state of public disaster, and a crisis management committee has been formed to oversee rescue operations. Brazil is one of the countries which is being heavily affected by the effects of climate change. And now a quick recap of the major headlines. Eritrean delegation participates at extraordinary summit of the African Union. Commendable health service provision in the Ginda subzone. China's exports hit high record as Trump tariffs loom. And Japan and South Korea foreign ministers stress security ties amid political turmoil. This was The World on Monday with ERi-TV English news broadcasts. Dear viewers, thank you for joining and stay well.